Well, here we are, final day, final session, but I do think we may have saved the best for last. It's time to finish things with a bang here on the Converse Smart stage for DTCDay Live. And, well, how do we do that? Well, we bring in the dream team. Yeah, we go bold, talking us through the 2021 Ugc Playbook, how to leverage user-generated content to massively increase your ROAS. We've got an incredible team joining us right now. Like I said, dream team. So let's introduce the members. He built and scaled multiple 7- and 8-figure DTC brands. Give it up for CEO and co-founder ScaleBold, Kendall Shaw. Yeah,
Awesome.
Kendall's in the building. Awesome. And of course, don't forget about this young man. He's been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Yahoo Finance, USA Today. Please welcome Chief Strategy Officer, ScaleBold, Robert Miller. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, awesome. Corey.
Man, we are having a party here. This is our final session, last day. And like I said, we're going to bring it home with the dream team. We know you guys are about to crush this thing. So here's my alley to your oop. Go ahead, and the stage is yours. I'll see you at the end.
Thanks, Corey. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. So thank you for having us today. Today, guys, we're going to be going over the 2021 Ugc Playbook. Like Corey said, my name is Kendall here. I'm here with my partner, Robin. We're the co-founders of ScaleBold. And today we're really show you how to leverage user-generated content and how we've been doing it at our company to massively increase the return on ad spend that you're getting for your brand. So as we all know, scaling an e-commerce brand really is not easy, and it requires multiple pillars of growth in your business to be strong and to sustain growth long-term. And with our playbook, that has allowed us to really help categorize each one of those pillars that you need to follow to build a framework to grow a brand, right? And we call this brand and this framework called the SCALE method. And in the SCALE method, it goes over the systems, the content, the ads, the logistics, and really evaluating, expanding what you need to grow your business. And as we all know, content is one of the main key levers that can pull results to really massively grow your business and hockey stick lanes of growth if all the other parts of the system, ads, logistics, and content are in line. Now, with that in mind, as you see here are just some mini case studies that we have here. And user-generated content has been a massive key driver in all these campaigns that we're going to show you here. And as you see, each one of these brands have had massive hockey stick growth, and UGC was key to getting that massive hockey stick growth. So a great example of this would be Underneath Skincare, one of our clients. And as you see, Underneath Skincare, here's the picture of the content that we leveraged here on the right. And this one ad we spent $40,000 on and generated over $131,000 back. And you can really see as they were growing their business, that hockey stick growth that they had in February was massively fueled by, crafting content, great content with user-generated content. Another great example of this as well would be with our client, King's Crowning. And the great thing about this client is we started working with this brand when they're doing about $1,000 a month, and we actually scaled them up to doing over $100,000 a month. And the great case study about this is the way that they scaled was by leveraging user-generated content. They actually got the first round of user-generated content in November, and as you see, they went all the way up from about doing $10,000 to $50,000 per month. And the great thing about UGC is one ad creative can really change the game for you. This one ad that you see above, you spent a total of $75,000 on, and that generated over $216,000 back and 6,000 new customers just from one piece of creative. And last but not least is our brand Flow Essentials. And this was the reason that we actually got into user-generated content to begin with. We took this brand from $0 to $100,000 in revenue in less than 45 days. And this one ad that you see above of a creator talking about the product and the experience that she had, we spent a total of $80,000 on this one piece of content, and that generated about 2.4 return on ad spend and almost $200,000 back. And now that is really great, and these are some great results, but the main thing that you're most likely wondering is like, cool, what are you going to be showing us today? So in the presentation today, here are the main things we're going to be going over. So the first thing we're going to go over is the key stats and research we found from leveraging user-generated content and paid advertising. After that, we're going to really go over why user-generated content works and why it's important to implement as a strategy a full encompassing strategy for your brand on content. Then we're going to dive into the specific types of UGC that you can leverage for your brands. Then we're going to dive into how to guarantee that the creators really create quality content. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and show you how to establish a vault of the right user-generated content so you can have a framework to really extend the life of your UGC and avoid ad fatigue, which is super crucial to scaling. So with that, we're going to kind of dive into something that we learned from Facebook. And 60% of all campaign success in Facebook is really derived from having the right content, right? Especially with iOS 14 and all the things going on in the algorithm and the optimizations, content is even more important than it ever has been. And user-generated content will allow you to get a lot more content a lot quicker if you have the correct strategy in place. And the main metrics for this is really how relevant an ad is to a consumer, right? The more relevant and engagement an ad has, the more likely Facebook will serve that ad and you'll be able to get higher performance because people are engaging with the ad, right? Just because once the ad is relevant and getting engagement on the platform, as long as the quality of the landing page is good, Facebook's algorithm is going to rank that much higher than a non-engagement ad. And this is why user-generated content is so important and why it really works well, just because the more engaging the user-generated content is, the more likely it is to scale. So now that we understand why UGC is important, now it's kind of to dive into why it has worked so well, not only for us, but hundreds of other brands as well. And the first reason is user-generated content is authentic and it's relatable because the creators are going to look like your ideal customer, right? By leveraging UGC, you're able to go and choose people that look like your ideal customers or even already are customers of your brand. And it's authentic and relatable. It shows content of your customer persona, speaking about the core problems that they're having and how your product is a solution to those problems. And that's super important just because it's relatable and people are able to see the end result from a different point of view. The second main reason why UGC works so well is really the social proof, being able to have the social proof of multiple people talking about your products. We are all marketers here, so we understand that psychology at the end of the day is so important. If you have, the example we like to use, if you have a brand with one piece of user-generated content in an ad versus another brand that has tens or even hundreds of pieces of content of people talking about their products, you're more likely going to go with the brand that has more people, more social proof, talking about the experience that they had with your product. It's simple human psychology, but when you can apply it to advertising, you're able to see really, really great and consistent results. The third reason UGC also works so well is because you're able to get different perspectives and different marketing angles on your products from someone else's viewpoint. When we get UGC for our own brands or for our clients, we don't use a script or anything like that. We really just get the core desires and the core reasons why people are purchasing the products from our customers or our clients. And then we give that to the influencers so they can truly understand what to say, but not just like as a script, but almost the main reason why that they should be talking about this product and the main things that they can do. And finally, last but not least, is that UGC and user-generated content really allows you to build rapport and relationships with your customers quickly at scale, right? Just because there's tons of different types of ads you can do, but leveraging user-generated content makes it seem like it's almost them. If I wanted to sell a product to someone, I would try and find someone that looked exactly like them so they could understand what they're going through and how the product truly is going to change. So to wrap things up, authentic, relatable content, massive social proof, different perspectives and different marketing angles on your products. And last but not least, you're able to really build rapport and relationships with your customers quickly at scale. So now that we understand why UGC works and why it's so important, now we're going to kind of dive into the different styles of user-generated content for D2C brands. And we're going to give some visualizations of this as well and how we use it for our clients. So the first type of ad is almost like the paid spokesperson and Cameo ad. So here's an example here. As you see, she's just talking about the product. This is skincare and saying how it's still glowing with her skin. So this would be just someone leveraging one piece of content and mashing up and editing the piece of content as well. Now, the second example is just someone using a product demonstration. And we snagged this from the Beard Club, huge brand. We're not working with them, but this is an example of someone applying the product, unboxing it, and showing the end result of what the product can do for them. And the reason why this works really well as well is because as marketers, we're selling a solution to our customers. So being able to show the product right to their door, leveraging product, and then the end result of whatever the product does is a really good way to persuade someone to go and purchase if they have a problem that our product is going to be solving. And last but not least, this is a great example, honestly, one of my favorite UGC ads. This is called a testimonial and mashup. So really what this is we're basically taking tons of different pieces of user-generated content and mashing it up into one actual advertisement. That way we can really show the customers what they want to see, as well as getting multiple different people. And this style has worked very well for us. And the reason for that is because it also has a lot of social proof, and you're able to leverage multiple different people talking about one thing, which is a solution to someone's problem, being the product. So now that we went through those really three main types of ads, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Robert. And Robert's really going to show you guys how to establish a vault of the right user-generated content and the right framework you need to really extend the life of the UGC that you're getting so you can avoid ad fatigue. And the great thing about this, before Robert goes, is with user-generated content, if you have hundreds of pieces of user-generated content, with the right editing and content strategy, you can make those pieces of content go much, much longer versus just having one or two different types of advertisement formats.
Yes, exactly. And so, as he said, the vault of your UGC is super important to build up over time so you can avoid the ad fatigue, and especially with those different edits, which we're going to cover exactly how to do that here in this presentation. So I like to break this down into 4 different pieces of the cycle. The first part of the cycle is gathering the right type of content. And at the end of this video, at the end of this presentation, we're actually going to be giving you our best script that has allowed us to contact a lot of these creators and influencers and get content for them. So you definitely want to stick to the end to grab that. But there's really the other 3 parts that allow you to move through the cycle and then start to monetize that content. So you want to review the content that you get and then go through and curate it, then edit the whole bundle of content that you just received, and then move it to the final deliverable phase where it's ran for ads. But what we've noticed is that a lot of times brands struggle with these 2 parts. Like, great, now that I got the content, how do I move it through and get it to a point where we're actually monetizing? So that's what we're going to cover. First thing is staying very organized. We use Google Drive. Other people use Dropbox or Box, any sort of cloud storage service, but we can categorize this into those 4 different parts of the cycle. So the first part is where you gather your ROAS, right? Those are the videos that you're getting from the influencers and the creators. And that's where you can sift through to see what's really usable, what really isn't, and then put that into that second folder. Now, inside that second folder, there's a subfolder. And as Kendall was mentioning earlier, you can have different angles that you are going for on your marketing campaigns, segmented, right? Per the content that you're getting and also per the ads that you're running. So this is a great way to stay organized, because as you move it through the curation phase and you gather all the videos, then you want to move it over to that third folder where you can see it has subfolders as well, showing, hey, the angle 1, angle 2, those are all separate, and these are the videos that need to be edited for that. And then finally, once it's all done and goes through that process, then you can move it over to final deliverables, share the drive link to your ad team in an organized fashion, so that way they can actually start running the ads with that content. So that's a very conveyor belt system that we use, that we've adopted in order to keep things streamlined. So now the editing process, though, is really where you see a lot of these different components used and these frameworks used in order to really work at scale. So that's what we're going to dive into here. There's 5 main types of edits where you're taking the first creator video, and that's really the raw content, the raw experience or the expression that they're giving, and keeping that very authentic. You can also have mashups where there's multiple creators inside of a couple seconds of an edit. You can also have title cards, where I'm sure you've seen in the previous videos here, which we'll point out on the next slide, how those all work together and how you can have a pink screen or a black screen with some text overlay to keep it very conversational. You can also have B-roll for the product, or the product in action being used, showing benefits and really showing how the product can benefit, again, your end consumer. And then lastly, having that call to action for them to shop now, buy now, or if you have some sort of sale going on, that can be what you put in the call to action as well. So here's how you are actually able to extend the lifetime of that content and get multiple ads out of it. Because when you go to scale, it's a creative game. The name of the game is creatives, and the more that you spend, you want to have these on deck. So the way that you can take a piece of content and edit it and have multiple variations is through this process. It's basically having these color-coded tile cards and shifting them through, tracking it and testing to see how it performs. Because if you have the influencer video followed up with a mashup, a title card, and a B-roll, that may or may not work for your brand. The second variation may work way better because it hits the audience different, right? And so when you look at these, you definitely want to think about the overall report that's being built or where they're at in the sales cycle, because this is a definite indicator of how it all ties in with your ads. So definitely a great way to track it. And you can go as long as you want. You can make 15 videos out of all of this, but this is a simple framework and structure to follow. So that way you can get more for your UGC. And so as you can see here, these are all following different frameworks, right? So the first video, it has that title card in the beginning, it has the influencer, and then it has some product in motion, and then goes in with the call to action. Same thing with even the demonstration video where she's washing her face. Same thing, she's going through, with that title card, showcasing the product, and then towards the end of that video actually showcases the call to action. So you can mix and match as you see fit and whatever's giving you the best results. So I hope that helps, guys. And with that said, I did want to give you guys the opportunity to get that content the way that we get the content, right? So gathering the content is the most important part. And we've actually created a script that we've been using that has been working really, really well. And so we wanted to give you the opportunity to scan that QR code or just go to go.scalebold.io/DTCDay to get that script. It's completely free. And again, hopefully that organizational structure helps you process all the content and get it out as fast as possible so you can start scaling up your brand. So again, guys, go get that conversation starter there for your influencers. We show you exactly how to do it and ultimately how it has helped us get more content to scale up more brands.
All right, there we go. We're back. And you know what? The thing is, it was okay because everybody was scanning the QR code. So that was totally fine. We wanted to give them some time, and we don't know what device they're on or where they're logging in from. So it was good to just let them scan the QR code. And if they're like me, we can't have too many distractions. So it was okay. It was okay to have that. Hey guys, thanks so much for sharing all of that information. Lots of great stuff in there. And I just wanted to kind of dive into a couple things. I know that, we've got a little bit of time here. I think we've got about 5 or 10 minutes before we have to send everybody back to the other stage. But I did want to, first of all, I love I'm still kind of blown away by the 0 to 100K in 45 days. The fact that, that you guys are able to scale something that boldly, that quickly is pretty incredible.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that was actually really crazy. It was right during the peak of coronavirus when that happened. So it was really shocking to see. I think every time everyone hits a new goal, it's just like, a really cool experience.
Yeah. And who are some of your best, and if you don't want to name them by brand, maybe you can name them by practice, some of your best customers, some that you see are really doing a great job, increasing that UGC.
Right. I mean, I would say, Robert, we definitely can touch in on this. I think anything in the skincare, cosmetics, beauty niche is definitely the easiest to get custom content for, just because customers can see results pretty quickly with the product, because it's usually a before and after type of product. And we've scaled a lot of brands in that niche, to multiple 7, 8 figures. So it's been really fun to leverage that. What are your thoughts, Rob?
Yeah, most definitely. And apparel is another one of those. You see brands like Gymshark and people that come out with new brands that are rocking nice shorts, and it shows some really muscular legs, people deadlifting, hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but using that particular brand. And so it really speaks to that message that, hey, these shorts are going to help you perform better. And we've seen in the apparel niche, the beauty brand niche, and also even with the ingestible items. Flow, which was actually a CMOS brand, actually it's one of our in-house brands, scaled up really well. And that really helped, especially during the coronavirus, since everyone was cautious about health. It really helped them understand that, hey, this is a safe product. This is great for your immunity. and it really helps with that as well. So all in all, it really works for most brands around the, that are out there. It's just, how is it going to work for you? So it's your messaging, it's how it's going to hit the end audience and what you want ultimately to happen with the audience.
I love that. And you know what, as I sit here and I think of what I've seen on my, basically in my feed, I do see plenty of skincare, body wash, stuff like that. That comes through the feed a lot. Also plenty of workout. I'm a madman on the Peloton. So I get, I see Kevin Hart every day. I'm like, okay, bro, I'll buy a pair, whatever. It's just, it is great. And I also see a lot in the tech game, as far as, there are so many emerging tech companies and different styles of tech, right? You've got wearables, you've got stuff that's going on, for your home. It's not just like, way to get work done. It's not just computers, but tech that's going on inside the home and being able to take people through. And Kendall, I think what you were saying is so important. The unboxing process, seeing what it looks like. What does the product look like? How is it? And that's why also, presentation is so important for a lot of these companies, because, frankly, when I get something, if it's packaged nicely, I want to show that. I want to put that on display. So, do you find that the packaging helps users to generate better content because they're able to reveal something in a, that looks more appealing to the eye?
For sure. Yeah, it definitely helps. I would say the biggest thing that we've seen is like the brands that we've worked with that have packaging tend to have like more retention in customers, just because since it is e-commerce, when you have an unboxing ad, that's the experience that your customer is going to have when they get the product, right? So it's almost like future pacing what they're going to have. So we've seen unboxing work the best really at retargeting. I would say that's more of a retargeting strategy, just because if someone sees an unboxing ad, they're not going to really be sold unless they kind of know who you are and like what you offer. So we usually use unboxing with like really, really our best reviews in kind of one ad in conjunction that I've seen work really well.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, it's really seeing that side of the business and the industry grow is incredible. Right now, it's just everybody's creating content, but it's all about how do you take that content and how do you generate a massive ROAS? How do you go ahead and create that? And I think what you guys are doing is amazing, because you are that in between, right? Because we've got people who are creating the content, but they don't know how to, and then you've got companies that are trying to leverage that, but they don't know how to do it. That's what's so great about what you guys are doing. You're basically, you're the handshake between the two.
For sure. I appreciate it. I think one thing that really, Rob, sorry for interrupting you, that has allowed us to grow quicker for the UGC for our clients is we have a full copy team at our company. So having people to really work with the creators and like have relationships with the creators, just because most companies are just like super transactional, whereas we actually are relationship with them, which allows them to really make sure they resonate the message for the clients and for brands correctly.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to add to that as well, that it's a reflection of the brand. So the type of people that we're reaching out to, how the messaging is, we want it to stay true and authentic to how the brand would do it too, right? And so it's keeping that transparency, the authenticity, making sure that the creator actually feels that it's something that they would rep. And they probably, 90% of the time they do rep it. They love it. They want to wear it. They want to use it. They want to do it. They become customers. So they love that opportunity of being able to, create the content for it. But it's also just keeping that relationship authentic. So when it's used at ads with mass scale, we're targeting millions of people that look like that demographic or that interest. It's true. It speaks from the heart. And that's what we really like to do with the UGC.
I love that. And loyalty is such a big thing, right? When we find a product, when we find a brand that we love, where not only do we stick with it, but we do become advertising. We become walking billboards for that brand, and it's really tough these days. I mean, I'm a huge sports guy, and people are changing teams. I get jerseys with my name on it, because if I get a player's name on it, chances are in a year or two he's going to be on a different team. So loyalty is really what it's all about. And what I was going to ask you guys, I asked one of our presenters the other day, is how do you vet your clients, and how do you go about like taking on new clients? What's the process to that? Or are you just like hey, whoever wants to come in and you know, and spend the money, we're willing to meet you there? Or is there a vetting process at all?
Yeah, so there's definitely a vetting process with how we actually take on full service agency clients. But what's really cool is that we have a couple other service offerings of courses and done with you type services that allow our clients to then become done for you agency service clients, right? It's not just, you know, one or two people working on an account. We have full copywriting teams, we have content teams, we have media buying teams and strategy teams that help with the entire lifetime of the cycle for launches, for seasons, and all that stuff. So it's more than just running an ad for our agency. But we've had, and Kendall can attest to this too, we've had multiple clients that have, you know, reached out to us that actually just started out with us training them how to do it. And then once they got to a point where they're like, I don't know what to do now that I have 80 grand a month coming in or 50 grand a month coming in. Okay, cool. Well, this is how you scale to the next level, because there's always going to be breakpoints that you hit at different parts of your business. And we help them through that. So it's not just ads, as Kendall was talking about earlier. We make sure that the systems are in line, the content's in line, the ads are performing well, and then the logistics are keeping up with the demand of your product.
For sure. And yeah, just to touch on what Robert said as well, that's the great thing about UGC, honestly, is because we're able to work with any brand regardless of how much revenue you're really doing. But I feel like when brands want to scale up, it's more of, if they can afford an agency, just choosing the right agency and team to work with, less of, you know, oh, I don't know if I can afford an agency. Because if you're thinking if you can afford an agency, you most likely shouldn't be hiring an agency, right? You want to hire an agency when you're ready to grow and you have a team, you're stable, where it's not, they're not going to be the biggest expense on your P&L. That's what we kind of like to, how we like to view it.
I love it. And what I love is that, you know, being able to offer those courses, right? Being able to offer them a starting point, which is really great, giving them accountability and the onus to say, hey, I got to get on board now before I take it to the next level. But when they are ready, you're there ready to receive them and continue to level them up. So I think what you guys are doing is awesome. I'm excited. Now I will look at all my user-generated content totally different. Every single post that comes through my feed, I'm going to say, was that in the best interest of the customer? Or is that generating revenue? What are we doing? But so I thank you guys for letting us peek behind the curtain, and it was awesome. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us at DTCDay. You guys brought it home big time on the ConverseSmart stage. So again, thank you so much, Robert, Kendall. ScaleBold. It's what it's all about.
Awesome. Take care, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got it.